There are moments that divide time in two, before and after. And in Fort Worth, Texas, everything changed the day those three girls vanished. It was December 23rd, 1974, 2 days before Christmas. The kind of day that should have been filled with shopping bags, carols, and last-minute gift runs. But instead, what happened that day would haunt a city for decades and leave three families searching for answers that still haven't come. They became known as the Fort Worth Missing Trio. 17-year-old Mary Rachel Trlica, most people just called her Rachel, was the oldest of the group. She'd only been married for 6 months to a 23-year-old man named Tommy Trlica. Rachel was bubbly, responsible, and already adjusting to a new life that included being a stepmom. Then, there was 14-year-old Lisa Renee Wilson. Renee was Rachel's close friend. The two were practically inseparable, always at each other's homes, sharing rides, and going to family gatherings together. Renee was in high spirits that morning. Her boyfriend had just given her a promise ring. The youngest was 9-year-old Julie Ann Moseley. Julie wasn't originally supposed to be part of the shopping trip. She was the little sister of Renee's boyfriend and lived right down the block. When Rachel came to pick Renee up that morning, Julie asked to tag along. She was persistent, begging her mom on the phone. And eventually, her mom gave in, with one condition: be home by 6 p.m. It was all supposed to be simple. A quick shopping trip to grab gifts before the big holiday. No one could have imagined it'd be the last time anyone would see them. The girls piled into Rachel's car, a 1972 Oldsmobile 98, and made a couple of stops. First, they went to an Army-Navy surplus store to pick up items Rachel had on layaway. Then, they headed to the Seminary South Shopping Center, a busy mall full of last-minute Christmas shoppers. They parked on the upper level of the Sears lot and went inside. That was it. That was the last confirmed sighting. Someone claimed to have seen them in the food court around lunchtime, just chatting and walking around. Nothing unusual. But after that, they were gone. When the girls didn't return home by early evening, Rachel's family got worried. Her stepson was supposed to be spending Christmas Eve with her and Tommy. She would have never just vanished on him. They drove to the mall, searched the shops, paged her over the intercom. Nothing. Her car was still parked exactly where she left it. Inside the car, they found a few things. A pair of jeans, still in a bag from the surplus store. A gift that Renee's mom had given Rachel for her stepson. Some say there were mall shopping bags too, but that's never been confirmed. Two disturbing possibilities loomed. Either the girls returned to the car, dropped off their bags, and were taken afterward, or they never made it back to the car at all. Police didn't take it seriously at first. They said the girls had probably run away. After all, Rachel's older sister had once run off for a short time too. So, maybe this was something similar. But that theory quickly fell apart. Rachel was married and had a family waiting for her. Renee had plans for a party that afternoon. And Julie? She was only 9. No way was she willingly leaving town with 2 older girls she barely knew. Then the letter showed up. The day after the girls disappeared, Tommy, Rachel's husband, received a handwritten note in the mail. It was supposedly from Rachel. In it, she said they were heading to Houston for a little trip and would be back in about a week. But something was off. Actually, a lot of things were. First, Rachel never called her husband Thomas, but that's how the letter was addressed. Second, the way her name was signed looked wrong. The L in Trlica looked like it had originally been an E, as if someone had started to spell trice and changed it last minute. And then there was the ZIP code on the envelope. It looked smudged and strange. The final number, a 3, appeared to have been printed backwards. A clumsy mistake. And most curiously, the letter had arrived incredibly fast. Faster than what was typical for the mail system in 1974. Handwriting experts have looked at that letter over the years, comparing it to known samples of Rachel's writing. The results? Inconclusive. Some believe she wrote it under duress. Others say it was a total fake. Either way, it didn't bring any peace. Then came the phone call. On New Year's Eve, just over a week after the disappearance, Renee's family got a call from a girl claiming to be a friend. She said the trio was on their way home from Houston and would be arriving by bus at 7:25 that night. The families rushed to the Greyhound station. They waited anxiously for the bus. It arrived. The girls didn't. By 8:30, most had given up hope and left. But Renee's father, Richard, and Tommy stayed until midnight, just in case. But the girls never came. That girl who called? She wasn't a friend of Renee's. No one even recognized her name. Just another dead-end lead in a growing list of them. Frustrated with the police, Rachel's family hired private investigators to do what they felt law enforcement wasn't. One of those investigators, John Swaim, went so far as to organize a volunteer search party, over 100 people strong, to scour areas based on anonymous tips. He even got a call from a man who claimed to know where the bodies were, if he was promised reward money and immunity from prosecution. Swaim never found the girls, and in a tragic twist, he died by suicide just a few years later, in 1979. Before his death, he requested that all his case files be destroyed. Whatever secrets he uncovered, if any, died with him. As the years passed, theories multiplied. Some believe the girls left with someone they trusted, at least at first. Others are convinced they were abducted in the parking lot, in a moment that slipped by unnoticed. A few still cling to the possibility that Rachel's letter was real, that the girls ran away and somehow survived. But time hasn't offered answers. 50 years later, there have been no arrests, no confirmed sightings, no remains. Just a silence that stretches on, and families still waiting. Occasionally tips surface, letters, psychic visions, fragments of memory from that day at the mall. Yet none have cracked the case. Still, the families haven't given up hope. They're waiting for the one clue that might finally explain what happened that December afternoon. 3 girls, 1 shopping trip, no trace, and a mystery that continues to haunt Fort Worth. If you have a theory or a tip that's never been heard, share it. Because even after all this time, one detail could still change everything.